Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the ASL Prime Season 3. This is Group E. And spawning in the top right, representing MYI, it is the Purple Protoss player, Arium.
And his opponent, across the map, in the bottom left, wearing the fetching red trunks, representing Team Cascade, it is the Zerg player DIMAGA.
Alright, the last match of the night. Whoever wins this match, you've seen it happen before, obviously every broadcast, but one of them goes home and one of them continues on to the round of 16. But,
see, that didn't seem that ridiculous. And then,
like, at first I was like, wait a minute. You've seen players in this situation before.
It's a good point. There's definitely been at least one PvZ as well.
True.
And this probe moving across the map, Arium, I think, trying to look around to scout the third base, and there is actually that very quick third on its way for DIMAGA. But Arium sees it. Arium's going to see it.
Yep.
That's important.
I agree. And the thing that we've seen from Arium is that his pressures have been more mid-game focused, like stuff that wouldn't necessarily punish an early third like this. But we'll see. We'll see exactly. Whoa. Okay. We'll see how he decides to react to it, as he did go for the same kind of opener we've seen. Double gas into what DIMAGA's plan is to deal with some kind of pressure like that, or even not even pressure. That's just to kill you. That's an all-in. DIMAGA, excuse me, going to be getting his gases now, and I really wish I remember the timing of when that push did hit, but it looked like it did hit pretty fast.
8 to 9 minutes, I think. Might have even been a little bit late. I remember thinking that it wasn't as early, it wasn't as late as it would be if you had to get +2 first, but it wasn't as early as I like my 2 base all-ins to hit.
Mm-hmm.
So we will have to see what it is that Arium does, but so far shaping up in the same direction as that. And Blink begins. I think this might just be an identical build. And if it is, then DIMAGA, he probably saw this on the stream. He probably has a very good idea of exactly what Arium does is doing once he scouts.
Yep. The first 100 gas going into Ling speed, and the Roach Warren is going to be here as well. DIMAGA has a lot of time to get to that kind of 2-base saturation with just a few on minerals at the third. You do not want to overdrone that third, because if you do, you are going to be in a world of hurt when those Blink Stalkers do hit. So getting Ling speed and then saving up the gas for the Roaches is great, and getting the lair so that he does get that speed, it'll allow him to not only be defensive when he defends it, but then when he sees an opportunity, he'll be able to seize it and chase off creep if he sees fit to do so. So, ooh, it's gonna be dicey because
serious wave of Lings on the way out from DIMAGA. Actually, I really like that he's making these now. Getting them out when he's saturated 2 bases is a really good decision, because it means that there's no chance of him being caught completely with his pants down. He's going to be ready for this at least a little bit.
Oh yeah, I mean, already spreading. Look at where he's spreading the creep. He's focusing in at the third. You notice that creep tumor is spreading out, and that is a location that usually does get assaulted by the Protoss. So the farther that creep is out, the better it is for DIMAGA, because this type of build does not have any detection, can't clear the creep at all, and also means that he's not going to be able to put that proxy pylon there. So he's going to have to find a nice place to put it, and it's going to be pretty far back if he doesn't go around this, like the way right side.
Yeah, really great map vision from...
Wow, look at that. Yeah.
Really excellent.
Oh, these Lings, though, actually, at the bottom watchtower are... there they go.
It's not bad. Like, he was doing all right, and he's actually splitting those out even more now. But obviously, those units that moved out to the watchtower with the probe did do the escort mission that they had to. And now with the first warping of Stalkers, DIMAGA is so ready for this, with big waves of Ling and Roach. He knows, man. He knows.
You already know. I mean, especially because he stopped at 44 drones. As soon as he did that, I don't even know if he scouted the blink, but yeah, he's going to be more than ready for this, as he does have road speed on the way. He is just pumping out units, and you only need 44 drones for this. You don't need a good amount. Wow.
Recall. Immediate recall. What a fantastic decision there by DIMAGA to be so ready for this. So he can now push with this. He could even decide to drone behind this attack. Exactly.
5 drones behind this as he puts on the pressure. Road speed going to be finishing. Robotics facility immediately drops down from Arium. And not really a good start for this game. But you know what? On the bright side for Arium, he only lost a few stalkers there. So he didn't just get completely obliterated and lose the mothership core and then be like, all right, I guess it's time to put down the robo.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It turned up about 9 minutes and then kind of got dealt with. But actually, this is pretty dicey in its own way. Yeah, that blink was necessary. And funneling the stalkers back into the natural. Okay, he's going to go kind of half and half. I like DIMAGA's choice to kill off this alternate attack path as well, whilst he has the opportunity. He can use that later in the game, should it get that far. But right now, actually just getting up as close to the stalkers as possible, forcing out an overcharge as well, which, as we discussed before, is incredibly useful in keeping the Protoss back at home, preventing them to move out from recalls, from time warps, from all those nice aggressive options. In general, DIMAGA just looking really strong in this game. And behind this, what is he doing? Is he taking up?
No,
he isn't
not
really, actually.
At all. He's actually just making roachling, so he'll be able to deal with the force. But it's a scary situation when you do get stuck on this, and we saw Arium do very well on King Sejong, where he delayed it out for almost long enough. But I feel like DIMAGA, if he's going to be utilizing this roachling, he wants to take the engagement on Arium's side so that his reinforcements and his economy can really kick in. So if he does it at his base, then you run the risk of getting overwhelmed, losing your army, and then your reinforcements kind of getting picked off as they come out. Don't think that's going to be the case in this game. I mean, he's already almost maxed, and it's not even the 13-minute mark. He's around some Stefano Roach max style here.
Honestly, one of the fastest maxes I think we've seen in recent months. Just coming up to... I reckon he'll be maxed by like 13.5 really easily. And adding on the Hydrogen as well, so that is the tech choice. I quite like the decision to go for Hydras, especially when the number of sentries for Arium is pretty low, and he's investing mostly into Stalkers.
Whoa, the flank is real! Oh my god.
I didn't even see that. That's actually fantastic. DIMAGA getting right around those Stalkers, now pushing at the front as he shoves the Stalkers in from the back. And even with a lot of roaches being caught by the force fields, this was a really nice timing for DIMAGA to move in. And there's only so many force fields left on those sentries.
Yeah. Oh, man. You know, in these situations where you're trying to break a 2-base Protoss, I would have loved to see Burrow with the Burrow. If you invest in it. Because,
though.
Yeah. It's more so just bypass the force fields. You know, if you're trying to break a Protoss on 2 bases, like if you're trying to deny the third, it's a different story because then you can force a Protoss out. But yeah, like you said, DIMAGA going for that Hydra. But how many gas? Okay, he's taking the gases at his third, but he's relatively low on drones. So the longer this does go on, the better it will be for Arium. But if if DIMAGA doesn't drone, you know, he's staying on 48.
Yeah, it feels kind of oddly restrained in that regard. I'd like to see him just diverting a little bit of his funds towards getting a few more drones on that base. But right now his army supply is huge, and maybe that's what he's planning. Maybe his logic is if he can max out on 1 base, 2 bases, why bother with? There's no need for him to really get the 3rd base full of drones. Instead, he can have 150 army supply, and that's what we see now on the field for DIMAGA. That is serious business.
Oh wow, Arium feeling very brave right now as he does take this fight. He doesn't have a recall here.
The flank is real, but the force fields are realer, walling off all of those roaches. This fight might be going the way of Arium.
Yeah, if he fights right now and doesn't allow those roaches on the top side to get in on it, he's going to be able to take a nice decisive fight. But he's moving on in. Uh-oh, the Mothership Core had gone down. There's still 3 Immortals that are alive, and this army of DIMAGA is getting obliterated. And the 3rd of Arium does get canceled. That is huge. The fact that 3rd did go down, though. Canceled.
It is true. It just means that Arium is more and more all in all the time. If we look in his main base, he's very close to mined out. And as soon as he gets mined out, if DIMAGA keeps denying that 3rd base, we are not going to see a Protoss on that much income. And I know Protoss is strong on 1 base, but not at the 16-minute mark.
No, not at all. And you know, this whole strategy from DIMAGA for not droning may come back to bite him. But there are 2 more force fields left. And how will they be utilized?
They're trying to keep as many Hydras out as possible. Yeah. So we can do.
Not bad at all. That army supply is looking pretty scary. DIMAGA is not on any upgrades at all. So they're both on 0-0, and now Arium has the momentum.
He's going to try and shove across the map with this Stalker Force. Once again, he's still pretty all in, but he's getting that Nexus behind, not so much as a as a transition out of the all-in, but just to be able to sustain it. And I still feel like he can't necessarily break DIMAGA with the constant reinforcements. But 4 Immortals in this composition says that he might be able to make it work.
That is scary. Even though the Hydras are very good against Immortals, they still do quite a bit of damage, and Hydras don't have a lot of HP.
Here they come.
2 more Force Fields, not really doing too much, but is it going to be enough? Hydras have such good DPS. Now the Immortals are exposed. Did Arium overextend?
I think he might have done. He's going to perhaps lose some of those Immortals. One already went down, but now DIMAGA having to make sure he stays on that creep, otherwise he'll be the one overextending.
Yeah, but the big thing that we have to take from all of this is that the third of Arium is about to be completing. He can go into whatever tech he decides to. Would assume that would be Robo Bay, as he already has a Robo facility. He's producing probes again here, Leth, and DIMAGA is just thinking that he's going to die because he keeps thinking that Arium is going to try to go and finish the job.
I guess so. He is just in full panic mode, and Arium, now exceeding his opponent in workers, might be able to transition towards taking a 4th to saturate those bases and maybe begin to go out of this all-in, because his counterattack with those force fields kind of stopping the flank of DIMAGA, it was able to do probably just enough damage to stay alive, I think.
Yeah, I feel like that is exactly what happened. DIMAGA now is the one that is on the back foot, and he could be the one that is all in. He hasn't invested in any upgrades. The recall, if he could have sniped that Mothership Core, would have been nice. But now we see DIMAGA, he is just going to be taking the gold base and then hopefully transfer some of his drones over there without having to worry about making any more. And just get the best, army supply that he can possibly get. But you know what the problem here is that he's going to be on Ling Hydra, and Arium is transitioning into the Robo Bay. And, Lings and Hydras are not really the best unit composition against Colossus.
No, they actually have a bit of a reputation for being the opposite of a good unit composition against the Colossus. And this Hydra run by off creep is easy prey for Blink Stalkers. Might get some back in return because Hydras have godlike DPS. Yeah, 3 Stalkers going down for that though.
Really nice run by at the 3rd as well. Did DIMAGA get the Hydra speed or what? Because the Hydra range is just now finishing here for him. And that could have been a big reason why it didn't seem like he was able to hold there, because the force fields went down and they weren't able to shoot. But here they go. I think
DIMAGA's overextended. I think DIMAGA's overextended pretty seriously. These Stalkers are going to keep blinking back, and even with Hydra DPS, going to attempt to take this down. 3 Immortals in the mix might spell doom for DIMAGA, especially with the immediate, basically frontline warpins that we're seeing out of Arium. But the Hydras are doing their best, causing a lot of blinkbacks. All of the Immortals have gone down, which means that the counter-push potential of Arium is significantly reduced. And actually...
Oh my god! Is he going to be able to do it? The Ling reinforcements should be able to buffer if these Hydras can survive, but time is of the essence.
I guess those grooved spines were doing more than we thought, because equaling the range of the Stalkers means that he was able to trade a lot more evenly with them.
Yep, and we didn't see that before. It was like, what? The Hydras are there with the DPS, but they still can't attack because the force fields were there. But this could be the turning battle here, as a lot of the Hydras are starting to go down. There are a lot of Stalkers retaining. That really one. Aggressive.
Yeah. One health Stalker. There's another Stalker on 2 health in there, but neither one of them was killed off. And DIMAGA, remaxing furiously on Hydralisks as quickly as he can, is going to need to try and deal with this Stalker counterpush that's going straight for his gold base.
Yeah, that has 5 drones mining from it. He's not really getting the best value out of it. And this is scary. It's just that low drone count is starting to hurt him, because this late game, he does not expect Arium to go into that 3rd base. He was just like, okay, if this is 2 base versus 2 base, I'm perfectly fine. But now he's stuck on that 3 base quote versus 2 base mentality against a 3 base Protoss who is teching into Colossus.
Yeah, and that's when this army's going to get really scary again. Like, Blink Stalkers, they are a scary unit. No one pretends otherwise. But what's even more scary for us, Zog, than just lots of Blink Stalkers, is Blink Stalkers with Colossi in the back.
Yeah. Oh, those Colossus do so much damage, and they melt those Hydras and the Lings so easily. And the fact that I haven't seen not even gas being taken in the main of DIMAGA, no tech choice, this is no upgrades.
Just one thing.
What?
One thing.
What is the
Arium? Oh no, he started it. I stalled for too long and he started thermal lance.
Imagine. You would have seen a similar situation. to the Hydras not having that range, and it is so noticeable when the Colossus don't have the extended thermal lance.
Well, that's what I thought we might have been seeing, but instead didn't get any of that. The Lance is going to be on its way, and even though that might have been almost forgotten, Arium is going to have that most critical upgrade for his Colossi.
Yep. And DIMAGA, I'm a little bit worried for him. He has to know that Colossus are going to be on the way. The fact that the Robo was done, the Immortals, we haven't seen any more supplement this army of Arium, and the fact that he is hanging back and was on 3 bases gives him that capability. So, this is so scary for DIMAGA, because what we're going to see is an unupgraded Roach Hydra Force against a unupgraded Protoss Force that is just higher quality because of the Colossi. But the saving grace, no, there is no saving grace. I was going to say there is the low sentry count is what I was going to say, but there's not a low sentry count at all.
Oh, as you made a low, there's loads of them.
Yeah.
How many we got there? We've got 10 sentries. That's not a low sentry count. That is a force field festival.
Yep. You have to be this I was going to say this amount of Protoss to ride at this force field festival, and these Zeg units are not even any Protoss at all.
No,
as they're going to try to push. Oh God.
Oh. Well, actually, you know what? Missing that last critical force field means that a lot of that army escaped, and the Colossi now breaking all the force fields. DIMAGA trying to lure them into a nice concave, but the force fields once again going down, just trapping a little bit more. I think he needs to pull back, and this is an army you can't engage without Vipers anymore. You really just can't get away with it.
Yeah. And that is just not enough. Roach Hydra off of creep, no Corruptors even. I mean, even Roach Hydra Corruptor is a questionable at this count of Colossi. But Roach Hydra only? I don't know.
It's going to be so hard.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, you're kind of relying on the Protoss to make a mistake, and it just doesn't seem to be happening. Arium controlling really well. But DIMAGA, he must be kicking himself. He had this game in the palm of his hand, and now the last of his first main army is melting away to those Colossus laser beams.
Yep, not looking good for DIMAGA at all. I have never seen a game go that long without any upgrades at all.
Me neither.
Called Arium. On the ropes, but he does take game number 1. Holy moly.
Alrighty guys, we're here on the second map, King Sejong Station and Icy Wasteland, and in the top left, representing Team Cascade, and in the warm red Zerg, it is DIMAGA.
And his opponent in the bottom right, he is the My Insanity representative, the purple Protoss player. It is Arium. Well. Game number 2 could go any way, as we did see just a little. I don't even know what happened in that last game where. I mean, I guess really what we can take from it is it was almost a counter all-in from DIMAGA by not joining the third.
Yeah.
But he must have been like, yo, if he attacks me, then I might die. But it's just in the long run.
I reckon he could have done a bit more of both, really. Like, he could have got the army going, but he could have also been teching up, getting the Hydras a bit sooner, which would have been more useful than they were. Generally, droning a little bit more, and it's just maybe a little bit of an inflexible use of his resources by DIMAGA instead of a more kind of supple and bending approach, because Arium plays Protoss in quite an unusual way as well. He takes his third base later than anyone should like to. Yeah. And it still totally works for the guy. He makes it work. He just goes, no, this is how I want to play Protoss, because I can take a third at any point. I don't need to take it when you tell me to. It just works.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it last game, and it worked perfectly. DIMAGA, though, doing the same thing, grabbing that really early third, pull first to be safe, and last time we saw Arium do the same kind of build, but he switched it up. He did switch it up a little bit with that DT in the beginning, but I think we saw DIMAGA getting a relatively fast lair as well, so if it was to be that again, I don't know. It's the same map. I feel like history could repeat itself, right? I always wonder. New player, though, do you take a different approach to it?
I don't know. He is already doing something a little different as we see a Stargate coming down in the front along with a Forge. So Arium using a style that we haven't seen him do at all, perhaps because his Blink play didn't work to the extent that it didn't work in that he had to turn it all into a macro game and was very successful in doing so. But now Arium trying a different tactic to see how it plays out, and I want to see what comes out of this Stargate. It might be an Oracle, might be some Phoenix. We'll see. We will just see.
With the Forge coming out as well, makes me think it is going to be an Oracle, and I wonder if we will see some kind of really aggressive follow-up, with it. Oh, man, I always wonder, too, like, it is going to be Phoenix.
Okay.
So, is he going to go for just a straight-up? I don't know. We shall see. We shall see.
I tell you what, I really want to see a heavy Void Ray style out of Arium.
That'd be sick. Even if the Phoenixes come out in order to just kill a lot of the Overlords around the map, while he gets +1 to do some kind of attack as well with it. The Oracle allows you to secure a third base for the most part if you do open with it, because it'll be able to kill the Ling counterattack. But Phoenixes allow you to supply block your opponent and decide to either transition into Colossus or follow it up with a very aggressive gateway attack off of that. So
I absolutely love the Phoenix as a unit, just in general, but especially in this matchup. And it's just the flexibility that it carries. It can obviously shoot down Overlords, which is Zerg's main eyes in your half of the map. And the other thing the Phoenix can do very effectively is it can scout the opponent's base while laying on some kind of light harassment. They get more dramatic as it goes on once you get to a sort of critical number, maybe 4+ Phoenixes. But in the early game, they can just scout out, and then once there's a few more, they can pick off queens, they can pick off drones. But DIMAGA is more than ready for this, bashing down a bunch of spore crawlers already, getting 1 in his third, 2 in his natural. Are there any in the main? Yeah, there's 1 in the main, under a cloud of Overlords, which is both protection and defense, because it's harder to see through the cloud of Overlords to pick up drones.
Indeed. And DIMAGA making a lot of lings. The speed has completed. He is going for a different style than we've seen him do all series, as he does get the +1 melee, which is very good against dealing with... when you go for the 1-1 style, it's very good against dealing with any type of gateway push that would be coming. But it also allows you to transition into the... Like, when you get the... I've seen very cool styles coming out of this. You don't really see Ling Infestor as much, but I've seen it before. But what I've also seen is that +1 melee into even a Swarm Host style that goes into a very quicker hive.
Yeah, and I'm watching like a hawk to see what it is that DIMAGA actually chooses to produce, killing off a queen in the main there and making a Void Ray, Arium making a Void Ray back at home as well with that Colossus bait on its way, actually putting down the Infestation Pit, so it might be that +1 into Swarm Host, or these melee upgrades could be for a quick Ultralisk style. Yeah,
you've seen, I don't know, like... I haven't seen like it enough to really know what the style is or how DIMAGA does decide to play it. I don't know if DIMAGA is really a Swarm Host type of player. The fact that the creep hasn't been a focal point here makes me think that maybe it's not going to be Swarm Host, because I feel like if you're ever going to go into Swarm Host, you do need to spread that creep.
That is a very good point.
So it is going to be what you said, I think. Yep, hive into those ultras most likely. And
that's an interesting style to open. I understand why you would do that against Phoenixes. It makes perfect sense against Phoenixes, and it's good against Colossi as well. But if Arium identifies what he's up against, Void Rays are going to be a fantastic counter to this. So far, only making 1, but he's selecting a Stargate. No, maybe not. He is taking a third, about the 10-minute mark. Maybe a little bit late, but Arium probably doesn't care because he seems to not mind that sort of thing. And a massive Ling Flood. The Phoenixes can't do anything about this, which is why they've been made. The Colossus will be very good, though.
Yeah, Colossus will do massive amounts of damage to Lings. It's the little Lings, they don't have much HP. But will this third just be forfeit? It looks like it is, because there's a counterattack inside of the natural.
Oh, a recall!
Wow!
Straight up into that. The third is cancelled. This is kind of the risk, and this might force Arium into some kind of 2-base all-in. He might just decide to move out after making a few more gates. Yeah, a load of gateways coming down.
Yep. I mean, I can't really blame him here. The Ultralisk Cavern is not going to be in time. Well, it might not be in time. I feel like, oh, God. You know what? I think it is going to be. But what I fear is that there's going to be Void Rays with it as well. And if he gets aggressive with it, if DIMAGA gets aggressive with it, he may not be able to do too much to the Void Rays. But a perfect defense with the Queens would be great. I'm just a little bit worried about the lack of the creep spread because that makes the Queens quite less effective. So.
Well, he is massing up on a few Queens now, going to start that ridiculously fast creep spread. And obviously, creep tumors do stack in terms of the creep spread rate if there's more than one in the area. So that means that he'll be able to make up some of the lost ground over time. These Phoenixes might do some damage to the Queen formation, though. That might be what they're sent over, but it's not going to... I don't think they can fight 5 Queens. Queens are pretty good anti-air.
Yeah. And I'm just wondering if DIMAGA has enough time. He needs to catch wind that this push is coming, and he does see it. Is he going to go for the counterattack to buy the time? I think that's what he needs to do because he only has Queens and Lings right now, and Arium has actually not that many force fields. There are really not that many force fields here, so Lings could be very nice if he gets a good surround. Queens deal pretty reasonably well with Colossi in high amounts, but when the Colossi get to a high amount, it gets pretty scary.
There are 3 Colossi in this army, and only about 5 sentries, as you said, not that many force fields, but this is still an army made almost entirely of some of Protoss's best units, and the Ultralisks, they're on their way, but they aren't here for another 15 to 20 seconds yet, and a lot of things just died at the front.
The first ones are popping out. If Arium can get in a good position, Ultralisk could be less effective. But I think DIMAGA is going to set up a nice surround. He has the creep spread to do it, and Arium has ventured into no man's land.
This is it. This is when the Ultras attack, smashing through those force fields. The Lings immediately get up in Arium's face, surrounding everything, forcing the recall. DIMAGA has held the attack.
Yep, and he has to go back home, Arium, and that is not what you want to do against a 3-base Zerg that is about to be at your doorstep.
Oh, yeah.
I would even love to see a Nidus Worm just to get those Queens over there faster. Because these Void Rays are going to clean this up eventually, but that is a lot of units here. And Ultralists don't do the best when trying to bust up a ramp because SimCity is their biggest enemy.
Yeah, that's their hard counter, really. It's like Immortals and Walls. They
those two
don't know what they're doing.
Things, yep.
Yeah, well, Void Rays are good as well, though. And I would have liked to have seen some Void Rays coming out from Arium, but I think the decision to go Immortals is, at least in the short term, immediately better because the Immortal can be focused down to a lesser extent by Queens, whereas Queens actually outrange Void Rays. So, but really, Arium, even with this good army, with good Void Rays, with good Immortals, he is going to be struck pretty hard by, I think, this Spire coming down. There's still no 3rd base for him. His main is getting increasingly depleted, and this big swarm of Lings is already ready to deny the 3rd that's trying to come down.
Yeah, they are right there, ready to go. And you know what, though? Arium never got the chitinous plating for his Ultras, I don't believe. And it's not even on the way. So he's on 2-2. He's going to be getting 3-3. He's focusing more on the Ling upgrades, but the Ultras don't have that extra armor at the moment. And I don't know if he forgot it or if it's just the style that he just doesn't, I mean, the fact that he's invested this much into 7 Ultras, I am assuming that it is a mistake.
I think you might be right there. During that, I think the Void Rays took out the 4th base. I saw the Void Rays fly over and kill it off. And the Queens now trying to fight. But there we see the Queens just... I guess the Void Rays have the high ground. But once you start firing from a high ground position, an air unit or a Colossus can be seen and hit. So
Vipers are on the way here left. And Arium is actually doing something really smart here by getting the Templar Archives. Because guess what those Queens have been doing? They've been banking up a lot of energy. You don't even need Storm just yet. Your big units should hopefully be able to deal with the Lings, like the Colossi should be able to. Immortals should be able to deal with the Ultras if he gets a good amount of them out. And then the Templar are going to be able to feed back the Queens so that they can't transfuse the Ultras that try to bust through. And they don't even have the chitinous plating, so Immortals will do great work against them. But is it going to be enough time now? It's like, I was going to say, we're watching, and what we've been seeing is, is this player going to have enough time? Is he going to have enough time? And that's happened about...
I just don't think he's going to have that much time. There's so many. Even with this wall that Arium's setting up, which is really nice. Walls, as we said, the arch enemy of the Ultralisk. Even not full walls, they just can't handle it. The AI will automatically send them to just attack the nearest target, as we see here, going for those gateways. But the pulls on the... I actually think that might have been a waste of energy, It didn't do that much.
But the Blinding Cloud is good.
Cloud, though.
Against melee units is great. Corruptors have been out here dealing with the Colossi pretty easily, but the Phoenixes actually were out of position. Doesn't even matter. Gee, that was a very scrappy style from DIMAGA. Whoa. Hey guys, look at that. We're back just like we never left. It is the best duo in esports, the sickest rap duo combo, Tempo and Left. Whoa. Final game we did.
I feel like you may be bigging up my rap skills to an extent that I cannot live up to that. I'm sorry.
You'd be like the hype man. It's like, yeah. And then munch on your crisps as I spit fat rhymes. You begin with, you could be like a crisp beatboxer. You like munch on your, the chips to a beat while I rap to the beat of you eating Pringles. No one's ever done that before.
No, I accidentally pulled the lead out of the headset because I just noticed everything go quiet and I was just like, this isn't right.
Well, I was saying that you would be the beatboxer by eating your crisps.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, I'm fine with that.
Sick.
I will get fat fast, but yeah.
Dude, if you got a Pringles endorsement, that would be sick. But hey, spawning. In the top right corner of Catalina is going to be the teal Zerg representing Cascade. It is DIMAGA.
Did you do Arium while I was...
I didn't. Not.
Okay. Well then, I'll do that guy that I just mentioned. It is Arium, spawning in the let's call it the 830 position. Over on the west of the map, he is red, and he is representing my insanity.
Bam. And Arium has opened up very similar each game, but he has been doing different builds every time. I think the only time we've seen him repeat the build was the first game of this on Overgrowth, and scouting DIMAGA wouldn't really give him the information that he needs. Like, he would see this opener from Arium and have no idea. Like, when I say the same opener, I mean a very the gas opener, double gas into Nexus after a gateway, Cybercore. So.
Yeah, it is a pretty standard opening to go for that double gas after the point where you kind of put down your expansion. He's cancelled a lot of stuff at the front.
Yeah, what's he doing?
Whoa! Okay.
Never seen this.
I've never seen a Twilight Council on a wall before.
Yeah, it's new, innovative.
I mean, yeah, he's a brave man.
Very
not
brave.
Least because it doesn't have as much health as the Stargate, which has an extra 100 health, an extra, it might even be 200, because I think Stargate is either 550, 550, or 600, 600, but I can't remember. And, yeah, the Twilight Council is a little bit more flimsy than that, and it's going to show if it starts researching, but on the other hand, it is the last place that DIMAGA would think to look for a Twilight Council.
I agree. Well then.
Unfortunately, he is totally going to see it anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like he would know, but this is different. He's getting +1 this time, and this makes me think that he's not going to go and commit to that blink all-in that he did before, but almost be going for a more traditional one by getting that +1 into +2, and we may see something that we've seen in... Okay, I was waiting for it. Robo. This is some kind of style that Puck used to do a lot in Wings of Liberty. These very tech-heavy, two-base, aggressive plays. I feel like the main attack of this is not going to hit until +2 is done, and with a lot of Immortals, a lot of Blink Stalkers, sentries that have enough energy banked up. So,
yeah.
And he's already fairly saturated on 2 base.
Yeah, I like it. Just as a decision, I think with +2, it may, like, blink all-ins make more sense to me with +2 Stalkers, just because they do then get that extra kind of shot effectivity against Zergs. But I'm not sure how much I rate the blink all-in in general compared to that. It has uses, and Arium has proven himself to be an expert blink player, obviously one of his favorite tactics. He also uses the timings inherent to the Protoss race very, very intuitively, often just hitting very strong ones within the game, even just by scouting, like not necessarily planning a timing, but just going, oh yeah, I can move that Gillian and just doing it. So this is a smart kid.
Yeah, I agree.
He's only 14 as well, so very, very good at this. But I still don't know if I like the decision of Blink. It just doesn't sit right with me, and we'll have to see what Arium cooks up to see if he can make it work. DIMAGA's making a lot of roaches, and he might just be ready for this.
Yeah, but the thing about this is that you have to take into consideration that this is not your average just Blink all in. You know, a DT into Blink. He's just Blink all in. You know, a DT into Blink. He's making Immortals off of this. He's gonna have the Observer for the detection in case DIMAGA decides to counter with, say, Burrow. And it's gonna hit a lot later when Arium's has time to build up the energy on the sentries as well. So I'm a little bit intrigued to see how it will work out, because the traditional way that, you know, Roach Ling with Burrow is not going to work. He's going to probably want to get Hydras, and he has the time to do it, and he has also the time to get a few more drones, but does he realize that he does have it? Is the question. You know, Hydras, just something. Maybe even, I don't know, Infestors to kill all the sentries?
Yeah.
Down the Blink Stalkers?
If there's like one fault I could say that DIMAGA has been consistent in, it's being too safe. He's been so safe in all his builds. He always prepares his army nice and early before his opponent moves out, except for that one game where he made a wave of drones and just lost. But
yeah,
pretty much the whole time he's been so mentally kind of ready for an attack, and actually it might be coming back to bite him a little bit, because this army, as you were saying, it doesn't have the kind of the Hydras in it that might allow it to beat the forces of Arium.
Yep, and no upgrades either, so we're going to see +2 Protoss against just Roach Ling, and Roach Ling is terrible against Force Field, you know, if you have a lot of them, and Immortals as well. There's 3 Immortals here that have +2. They're going to annihilate the Roaches, but hey, if DIMAGA can get a nice surround, it is going to be great for him, but that he's going to rely on that, and let's hope that he's able to do it. Wow, triple surround action.
That surround!
Wow!
DIMAGA! Okay, I criticised his preparation of armies, but if there's one thing I'd like to say is absolutely astounding me with how he plays, it is his ability to get complete 360 surrounds every single game.
Yep, he set that up so brilliantly, even way before it was going to happen. And, you know, this is the point in time where DIMAGA needs to get damage done. He needs to start trading and can't allow Arium to continue to build up this army, because if he's maxed out on Roach Ling with no upgrades when Arium gets all these units out, we're going to see a similar situation to what we saw on Overgrowth, where he just doesn't have that mid to late game kind of army to deal with what Arium's going to throw at him. 2-base Protoss is pretty strong, you know. He can sit on this for quite a bit and just build up the forces that he needs.
Yeah,
if DIMAGA sticks on this, I really would love to see DIMAGA go into taking another gas, playing it just a tiny bit more greedier. But I don't know. I think it is going to bite him if he doesn't get damage done. It's not a position you want to be in. Lack of upgrades really, really scares me here, and it scared me quite a bit for this whole series. As this is really looking like Puck. Like, I swear, old school Puck. This is literally. They used to be on the same team, you know. IVD.
Yeah, true.
I'll shout that out real quick.
Nice, real nice. I do really like this out of both players. Arium is just getting a really heavy Immortal style. 6 Immortals in that composition, and you can do some serious damage with 6 Immortals, especially 6 Immortals with +2, soon to be +3, and even more so when fighting totally unupgraded Zerg. 150 army supply be damned. I think that this force of Arium is just going to be almost unstoppably strong with +3.
Yeah, I am very worried. Yeah, those 360 surrounds may be good, though. But how many sentries here have full energy? I would say, yeah, that's a lot of sentries that have
10.
full energy. +3 will be finishing. There's an observer here in order to see, I believe, unless it got picked off. Yeah, there's an observer seeing exactly the position, and DIMAGA is going for that again. But Arium is going around a location that is going to allow him to force field pretty easily. But when he gets trapped, will there be enough units here? He is
I don't know.
Just going. He hasn't made a probe since that 44 probe mark, and that has been a long time that he's been there.
Oh yeah, this is a massive Protoss army. This is almost just maxing out on 2 bases and going for the kill, but it's not quite maxed out. And the Immortals are now at enough of an upgrade advantage. When an Immortal is +2 on a Roach's defensive upgrade. So that's if the Roach is at 0, that's at +2 or +3. The Immortals begin to 3-shot rather 3-shot rather than 4-shot. So 6 Immortals here are now going to rip these Roaches into tiny pieces. But look at the production tab. That's a scary
production tab. The 17 mutas, but I mean, if you really think about it, please are +3 Stalkers, and they have Blink. I don't think this is the right decision here from DIMAGA. Putting down that Spire, he may have been expecting that it was going to be Colossus-based. And now he's in a little bit of trouble because these mutas don't have upgrades, and guess what these Stalkers do? Even if he goes into a base trade, DIMAGA doesn't have the gas to even make any more mutas. He just has minerals, and this is going to have to be Lings, and he's even going to have the Lyra?
Oh my god, look though, the Roaches are just burrowing through those force fields at the front of Arium. They're going for basically a base race, and the mutas are going to be as annoying as possible, sniping out sentries whilst the Roaches go for the main. But on the other side of the map, Arium is going to kill off almost every single worker of DIMAGA. He's down to 10. This is devolving into a base race extremely quickly, and I don't know if it's one that DIMAGA can win.
I don't think he can. He just doesn't have the upgrades. He's on no upgrades on any of his units. He does have Burrow, so he's able to kind of do these tactics, but the mutas are already starting to get shredded. +3 attacks on the Stalkers. It's not even Arium's main Stalker force. That was only warped in, and with the help of the sentries that did give the life for Ire, they are going to be able to hold this. Look at the sick micro here on that Warp Prism. Imagine if it was Legacy of the Void, it'd be even easier, but no. He's showing that it's going to be just easy peasy for him when the expansion does hit. GG will be called, and Arium...